About 15 years ago, I had the wonderful opportunity to be able to interview for my current position at the Hampton Road Sanitation District, the Chief of Interceptor Operations for the South Shore. I know, not a super glamorous title, but it was something that over the course of the previous 2 years, I had grown a deep passion for. The projects that I had managed as a project manager in the engineering department were pretty much focused on interceptor operations, which is basically the pipelines and pump stations that lead the flow from our localities to our wastewater treatment plants. Now, I'd gotten this passion just because I knew quite a bit of the individuals that worked for interceptor operations. And so when the opportunity came to me, I applied for the position and I was given an interview. Now, after the interview, I thought I answered the questions with great passion, and I thought I really hit it out of the park. I walked out of there pretty much skipping out of the interview thinking I had just gotten that position. Well, after about 2 days, I finally heard from the director of operations, and I sat back in my chair thinking to myself, I'm going to go in there and be able to hear that great news. So I sat across from the director of operations, and the first thing he told me was, Shawn, you did a phenomenal job. You are perfect for this position. You answered all of the questions with deep passion and great pride. But I had that feeling that the big but was coming, and it did come within a few minutes. The director of operations told me, but we can't offer you the position. We're offering it to someone else. Now, pretty much everything else in my mind had grown blank. I was deeply disappointed. I walked out of that office feeling very dejected and just feeling that I didn't do enough. Maybe I didn't answer those questions as confidently as I thought I did. Maybe this really wasn't my passion. But after a few weeks after that, I had to really think back, really think hard about what I really wanted. And I knew that this was my passion and this is where I wanted to be. So there are 3 things that I did over the course of the next 7 years that helped me get my focus on getting the position that I'm at currently today. 1, I kept my eye on the prize. I knew that position is exactly what I wanted. So what I did was I did even more research and found out more about the position and what type of interactions and expectations that the director of operations would have for that person, knowing full well that that position would come up again. 2, build relationships and connections. I know that I'm in the water sector, in the water industry, but I always say to myself, I'm also, like everybody else, in the industry of making relationships and building connections. So I talked to the other chiefs that had interactions with the chief of interceptor operations of the South Shore. I also built relationships with all the other directors in the area as well, and knew full well that those connections I would be able to leverage later on in that interview that would be coming to me one day. And finally, I was patient. Patience was absolutely key because I knew it wasn't going to be a matter of decades before that position would be coming open again. Yes, it may have been years, and it was 7 years, but I knew patience was absolutely key in giving me that time to be able to learn more about the position and more about the people that were very important to that position would finally get me where I needed to be. So those 3 things, keeping my eye on the prize, building connections and relationships, and then finally being patient were absolutely key to me getting the position where I've been in this position now for about 7 years. And these are 3 things that I'm going to keep in mind as I look for other opportunities at HRSD.